Did you know that St. Luke's University Health Network, based in the Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, has been recognized by the U.S. government as the highest performing health system in the United States for quality? You heard right. St. Luke's #1 recognition affirms our status as the top leader among the most respected healthcare providers in the nation, including Houston Methodist and the Mayo Clinic. To state it simply, if you want to receive the best care when you go to a hospital, come to St. Luke's.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi. Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Adam, I trust that you're still with us.
Sure am.
All right, you said, and I want to make sure I have this right, so correct me if I'm wrong. You said, what about reparations? You posited the idea that we built this country, and we haven't had reparations. Did I get that right, or am I missing something?
Well, I said our forefathers.
Our forefathers, right.
Not Adam and James, but our forefathers.
Mm-hmm. How about the mothers?
Okay, the mothers too, yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay. So let's start. Let's address this. I'm assuming you're talking about people of African descent.
Yes.
Okay. Our forefathers built this country, and so we should get reparations. All right. Now, what are the reparations exactly for? Let's start there. We should get reparations because what?
Because you gave it to the Japanese, you gave it to the Jewish people. What's wrong with giving it to the African Americans, sir? What did they get the money for? What did they get?
Okay, I'm asking now. Reparations for what exactly?
I was trying to figure out what the Jewish people got their reparations for the Holocaust, what the Japanese got their reparations for, and now they're pulling people from South Africa over here, acting like they getting murdered and stuff, and they getting ready to get them over here by the bus loads and the plane loads. And I
have an article about that, Adam. You're very prescient. Okay. I have an article about that in my stack. Yeah. However, you're not answering my question.
I know I'm not.
Why not?
I'm going to give you, because I want the answers to my question.
Why not? Why not? Reparations for what exactly?
For holding us back for decades, centuries.
Okay, let's follow the logic. And we were held back for centuries because of what?
Because of racism, sir.
As experienced through what? I mean, people suffer discrimination for all kind of things. But for what? Are they for slavery?
Redlining.
Mm-hmm. Slavery?
Well, you can say
isn't that where the root of all this started?
Yeah, that was a crime against humanity. Yes, sir.
Okay, so everybody involved in that crime, their descendants should pay reparations, correct?
If everybody involved with the Holocaust, they still getting paid for it.
We're talking about African Americans right now, and I want to get to the bottom. You want reparations? I want to get to the bottom of this. All of those other things that you mentioned, reparations for Jewish people, reparations for Japanese, all that. The Japanese, of course, thrown in internment camps in World War II, and they were given some of them were given reparations from it. Many were not, by the way, just so you know. And their lives were destroyed by Franklin Delano Roosevelt and the Democrat Party, just so you know. But I want to focus on
that money, though.
I want to focus, Adam, with you on your claim that black people, Americans, deserve reparations. I want to focus on that, okay? So, Everybody whose forefathers were involved with that, their descendants should pay up, correct?
I believe we should get some type of monetary fund, yes.
And the descendants of those involved, people that were not involved in it, why should they pay?
The same reason the Japanese and the Jewish people getting paid, sir, to this day. To this day.
What are you talking about? Let me just ask you, let me cut to the chase here, because I think you know where I'm going, which is why you're being hesitant. Because you don't want to answer the real questions. So, should we go back to Africa and demand that the black people there who sold other black people into slavery, who were the instigators and largely responsible for the slave trade, should we go back to those African nations and demand that the ancestors of the people who sold black people into slavery also contribute to this fund?
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to go to Africa, get money from the Africans. Now, for the slaveholder descendants, we should get money from them too. So people like The View's Sonny Hostin and Kamala Harris, whose relatives were involved in the slave trade, they need to especially pay because we have proof that their ancestors were involved in the slave trade. So they should be made to pay out of their pockets too, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, who else?
All those people, all these big companies that was born from free slave labor, sir. They changed their name around. All these Wachovia banks and all these other banks and stuff that was formed from free slave labor, sir.
Okay, how much money you want? How much?
Well, $300,000 per black person should be efficient.
How about if you're a black person, but your black ancestors were involved in the slave trade? You're out? How does that work?
I don't know how that works, sir.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And then, now that we're talking about compensation, should the relatives of people that were killed by black people, especially now, should they also be forced to pay compensation for what their people did?
Oh, it seems like you changing the subject now.
No, I'm asking a question. I'm asking a logical extension. If we're going to start handing out money based on what past people did that are not alive now, I want to know to what extent do we continue this? If we're saying people that you're saying and arguing before us now, that people that are living now, whose ancestors, in some cases we can't even trace, need to be compensated, and because history happened, then where do we stop, Adam? Do we also now include like that poor girl that was killed on the train in Carolina, chopped up? Who's going to pay her compensation?
Yeah, that was a sad thing, sir.
It was. Who's going to pay her compensation?
I don't know, sir.
I see. Adam, the stuff that's holding us back. You have the largest demographic that's killing African Americans are African American males between the ages of 18 and 24. How much do we charge them for reparations for what they're doing?
That's a trick question, sir. That has nothing to do with slavery.
What do you mean? No, you're saying the premise of you're saying we need reparations is because harm was caused. Do you not think that all of these black kids lying in graveyards or cremated, their ashes scattered to the winds, deserve compensation for being harmed?
How much money does the United States give Israel per year, sir?
How does this relate to Israel?
How does what you're saying relate to slavery?
Because it's all a result of a culture in America. If you're going to go down this road, I'm going to go down this road with you. If you want to talk about the African American experience in America, let's go down the whole road. Let's not just go down the road and point fingers at white people and say, well, you're responsible for everything. We built everything, which we did not build everything in America. And there is no doubt that the Democrat Party has got a lot of their power from racial hatred and from the subjugation of black people. They're still doing it. They're still fighting for segregation with their segregated districts while they preside over these inner cities that are falling apart. So if we're going to start compensating, Adam, I say, let's go, damn it. Let's start. If we're going to compensate, let's compensate. What's wrong with that, Adam? First of all, you're raising a false flag here. This compensation plan was never for January 6th, period. Read first of all, the plan's not even announced yet totally. It's a concept, and they haven't said how it's going to work. They said it's open to every American. Not just January 6th. So with this fixation that the left has with January 6th, I mean, get over it already.
That guy from the Proud Boys said he won $3 million. Tarico, whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear that?
You still didn't have anything. You know, Adam, you have evaded the whole reparations thing. You do realize that, right? You start us down this road, and then you bail out. Because the questions start to get a little uncomfortable.
Okay.
Adam, the point is, if you look at every single civilization in the world, you can find atrocities everywhere. If you look at Japanese history, you will find atrocities, especially back when feudal Japan was changing and moving into current. If you look in Chinese history, you will find atrocities. If you look at African history and Egyptian history, which is part of Africa, you will find atrocities. If you look too deep inside Russian history, you'll find atrocities. You know why? Because, Adam, the same things have afflicted mankind from the beginning of time. The 5 evil passions of human beings: greed, avarice, sloth, anger. You look at it, the same conditions affect humanity. And if you're going to start trying to make good on today of what happened yesterday and think that someone's going to be made whole, you're mistaken. It's not going to happen.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.